Good morning once again, and welcome to the Brenda Perryman Show right here on TV 33. And I have as my guest someone who I've known for quite a while. She is so multi talented. And right now she serves as Vice President of Arts, Youth Development, and Community Initiatives with the YMCA. And I'd like to welcome Latitia McCree. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful because I'm here with you.
Well, I have another friend, a very good friend who knows you, and we were talking about, she was telling me this wonderful lady, you need to interview her. It was Daphne and Terry.
Oh, absolutely.
And I said, she's coming on Friday.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
She's my thesis advisor.
Yes, I know. She told me. Now, the YMCA, which is a very, very old, I remember as a kindergartner, walking to school. I went to Mars School. You don't know anything about that. On Grand River. It was right next to Northwestern. It was the elementary, McMichael, and then there was Northwestern, and the YMCA was right on the corner of the Boulevard and Dexter. And I just always said, wow, that building's fantastic, but I didn't know what it was about. So could you first tell our viewers, just in case they don't know, what the YMCA is about?
Currently, nationally, we are going through a campaign now talking about the why so much more. And a lot of people think of the YMCA as a place where you learn to swim and play basketball and work out. And yes, you can do all those wonderful things at the Y, but the Y is a lot more. One of the things people don't know is that the YMCA has been involved in the education of young people and adults since its inception. One of the things I like to share with people, if you go back to when the Y was founded in England in the 1800s, you know why the Y was created? A young man decided that young boys who were leaving the country to work in factories, they were being involved in drugs and gangs, and let's call them friendly women. And they were concerned about the morale of the country and the people. And so they created the YMCA to support wayward boys.
Young Men's Christian
Association. And so we have similar challenges today.
Yes, we do.
And so what the YMCA is doing today is we run a program, and people may not notice, this is the 34th year the YMCA is celebrating its Minority Achievers work. A young man named Leo B. Marsh worked at the YMCA in the early 1900s. And he started the first Minority Achievers program in 1971 when he retired at the Harlem YMCA in New York. And what the program does is take wonderful people like you, or the people who are Reverend Sheffer, or anyone who is around in our community who want to make a difference in young people's lives, and gives them opportunities to mentor. One of the things that we need to do for young people, particularly urban young people who see themselves in disadvantaged situations, because they're not disadvantaged. I don't call them that they're in disadvantaged situations, but they themselves are not disadvantaged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I taught in Highland Park for 18 years, Southfield for 22 years. And my students, I guess when you're a teacher, you're always a teacher. I have so many mentees still to this day. I was on the phone with one until after midnight last night. You stick with them because you care about the future. And people who come in, how do people get to be mentors with the youth who get involved with the Y?
Well, they can call the Y at 313-223-2841 and say they're interested in serving, and then we'll have they can let us know what kind of way they like to serve, and we'll have the appropriate program director contact them.
Because they could use their various talents, too.
Absolutely. One of the things we're doing, June 26th, is the 34th Annual Achiever Celebration, and we will be honoring over 30 African American men who are looking to serve as mentors and support our young people. The power of that, we decided, normally we nominate men and women, but with the My Brother's Keeper initiative that President Obama is rolling out, we said, this is a great opportunity to really focus on men of color.
Yes.
And so Eric Huffman of State Farm Insurance is our chairman of our board, and he is championing this initiative. And we have some wonderful, wonderful men. Gail Perry Mason is going to be our keynote speaker.
Right. She's wonderful, friend of the show.
Absolutely. And Glenda Lewis is going to serve as our mistress of ceremony. So we have some wonderful people from our community who know that in order for Detroit to thrive, not only do politics have to change, we have to invest in our young people. It is not optional.
No, there's no option with that.
It's not optional. And so back to the other things the YMCA is doing. One of the things people don't know is that the YMCA has a vibrant arts program. Because one of the things that happened, you notice they started the STEM program and now they put an A in it. They're calling it STEAM.
Yes.
Because they realize if you want a young person to thrive, you have to give them the ability to think critically. And nothing does it better than arts.
Than the arts. And the thing about it is the arts in Japan, they're telling their kids, because everything was always science and math, very finite stuff. But if you don't have an arts initiative somewhere in your classes, they take you down a notch, because people who engage in the arts think outside of the box. They look at all sides of situations and everything. The arts is very, very valuable.
So it's critical that our young people not only know how to read and write and calculate and understand math and science, they have to know how to apply it to the real world. And that's what things like music does, ceramic arts and dance. It teaches
drama.
Theater. We have a vibrant theater program at the Y. We have a theater called the Marlene Bowl Theater. It's inside the Bowl Family YMCA. And we have a fantastic improv art program. Local improv artists from around Detroit. Some have gone to California. One of the artists from Key and Peele, they actually raise money so that the YMCA can send professional artists into schools in the city of Detroit to teach kids improv.
Excellent, excellent. Because they took the arts out. That was the first thing to go.
Yes.
The first thing to go, and so necessary, because you had arts when you were young.
Absolutely. One of the things that helped me grow as a young person was, remember auditorium class?
I thought you were too young to remember auditorium.
I have no shame in telling people my age. I tell everybody I get better with time.
I know. Well, all young people should be in awe of the things running through my mind, because everybody ain't able, and I've gotten better with time.
That's right. Sure. That's right.
Auditorium class. It taught you to be an audience member. It put you on stage and everything.
That's where I learned. There was a poem written by like a 7 or 8 year old talking about her hair and that she was a cloud. And I was like, oh my God, I can do that too. And ever since the auditorium class at Pierce Elementary School, when I was in the 4th grade, I have remembered that. And so that began my writing career. And I fell in love with Sonia Sanchez and Maya Angelou and all those wonderful people.
And Latitia is a fabulous poet, a fantastic poet, and we've been lucky enough to be out of state together doing poetry and everything.
Absolutely. It is so wonderful, because what I've done is, yes, I'm a poet and I write, but I've been able to take my writing skills and use them to benefit others by writing grant proposals, through public speaking and advocacy. So because someone taught me, whether it was the late Hattie Kason, who was one of the most fabulous English teachers that there ever was, or my most recent thesis advisor, Daphne and Terry, and Dr. Diane Jackson, there have been so many people, you yourself, who mentor me, and so now it's my responsibility to carry the torch and mentor others.
You have to. We have a call on the line, Easy LL. Good morning.
Hello, I'm on.
Good morning. Yes, you're on.
Good morning. How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
Yeah, I heard you say something about STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Yes.
And I've been championing that for 4 or 5 years. I sat down with John Conyers and presented him a 32-page PowerPoint presentation for just that. And it goes, it was an amendment to the Henry Hawkins Act for the full Training Employment Act. And I'm wondering, how can I present this program and get funding for 3D printing and sculpting? This is the 21st century hammer and nail for our kids to have a future in engineering, art, and math. This is where they get married at.
So you were interested in trying to get
funding. Have you heard of 3D printing and sculpting?
Well, I've heard of 3D printing and everything. Did you want to start a program in your own building?
Well, I'm a designer with those skills. Right now, our governor has gone to Vozeljet in Germany to get a 3D printer and bring it back to Canton, Michigan. I'd like to have the same set up here to train our youth and our long-term unemployed. How can that happen?
Well, I'm not sure where. Have you tried to get funding?
I'm sorry, breaking up.
Have you tried to get funding
Well, I've written a grant once and only once, and that was 6 or 7 years ago, and that's what started me on this trail.
Well, you gotta keep doing that because you have to. You just have to keep doing that because that's very important. You said the arts and engineering.
Yeah, they got married. The
Well,
21st century is called 3D printing and sculpting, and it's the hottest thing right now going around the world. It's on the coast right now, California, New York, and Florida, but not here. And there's a company here called Stratasys that is leading that, and we don't have anything here in Detroit for that. They do have it for Houghton Lake in Michigan, and General Motors training teachers there, but no one is training our teachers here for this 21st century technology. And I like to wear that mantle.
Are you trying to get the programs integrated into our public and charter school system, or are you trying to have community organizations partner with you to provide it as wraparound services for young people?
Well, I like to have it as because community services, it eventually be infiltrated into the school system after you see what it is. I'm thinking that, and I designed this after see the program I was in when I was a young man. And that was an introductory to blueprint drafting that only ran 2 years. When Reagan came in office, he counseled it, and he sent all of the knowledge to Indochina and Mexico. And now nobody knows anything, and they want to get it back now, and they're looking. That's why they have all these visa workers that might have some of these employability skills to come over here as engineers because that's where it went to.
Well, you need to, I think one of the things you've probably done or need to do is get samples of your work. And I mean, sometimes you have to beat the pavement to,
I'm sorry, you
to
broke
these
up.
various entities that you want to get your program into or get the funding. Sometimes you got to start. Where are you now with this? Let me ask
Right
you.
now, I am with the curriculum written in and printed in my computer. I have a flyer that I went ahead and printed. I've presented the program to City Council once upon a time, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I shut them down. I'm saying they ran after me with cards saying, call us. That was Janet Winfrey and the like, saying that they wanted to go and implement this program with a city block grant, but then the laws changed for the city block grant, and it fell to the floor.
Well, see, because we just have another moment on this, and we have somebody else on the line, but I was going to say you got to continue to beat that pavement. You got to continue to go in front of that city council. I mean, he said 5 years ago, you know.
Advocacy.
Well, I haven't been silent since then, I'm saying.
Oh.
I have continued, but I haven't ran an avenue yet to go ahead and say, well, I'd like to see her try this.
One of the things I tell young people and adults is that when you have a dream, none of us are given a dream that we have not been given the power to make it manifest. And so one of the things I tell people, whatever it is you want to do it now. You may not be able to do it on the scale that you dream of today, but do something, whether it's working with a small group at a church or a community center. Just start doing the work with whatever resources you have now, and then it will become a hedgehog, and it will roll, and it will move fast, and it will build up. So don't feel like because no one is funding your full project today that it won't happen. Start with the resources you have today and go from there.
That's it. Fine.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
looking for partners as we speak. Somebody would have some forethought to go ahead and have this continue.
Okay, thank you so much. We have Theo on the line. Good morning, Theo.
Well, happy Friday to both of you.
Hi, we just
The gentleman who was just on the line is expected at the Hood Research meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock
right.
to give a demonstration. So if the two of you are interested and available, we're going to be at 7310 Woodward tomorrow. Now, as it relates to the why, can you tell me if there are programs for the returning citizens? I understand that there are more young ladies getting involved in the prison pipeline.
One of the things, the YMCA, we don't do any of our work alone. So everything we do, we have partners. One of the programs that we have is supported through the Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation, and it serves 14 young people ages 14 to 21. And so if a young person, as long as they are involved in school, they can get registered through the Youth Development Commission, who is another partner, and then they will be eligible to participate in what we call I Can Achieve program, which helps young people move from high school to post-secondary training. And the reason I say post-secondary, some young people will not go to college. They will go to a trade school because, you know, plumbers make a lot of money. I've had to pay one before, and roofers.
I swear.
I know nobody can leave
Absolutely.
this world without dealing with a plumber.
And so one of the things I think is really important is that we teach young people to learn to trust adults in some of these community organizations. One of the things that we find is, particularly when you're talking about the 18 to 21-year-olds, we can provide them with many, many resources, but if they don't follow through on their end, we can't help them. We only can help them if they are ready to be supported. And so that's our biggest challenge, is working with that particular population. We have had some major successes with young people. One of the things is, in June 26th, not only are we going to be celebrating the men, we're going to be celebrating about a dozen or so high school students that have been with us, many for about up to 4 years, that are graduating from high school and are going on to college or a post-secondary institution. We also have young people who were in the 18 to 21-year-old bracket who are now high-low drivers and working in retail, and some going to the military. So we are really working with these young people, and it's through our Workforce Investment Act program. The fundraiser that we're having June 26th that we're still looking for sponsors for, the goal is to provide training and summer employment to young people. That is what our goal is. We're hoping to employ about 200 young people this summer through our partners with DTE Energy, City Connect, and the Detroit Employment Solution Corporation and the YMCA. So together, we can make sure that young people, because you guys know there's nothing more powerful than you give that young person their very first work experience.
That's right.
Now,
And I really appreciate all that you're outlining, because unfortunately the Detroit public school system has systematically eliminated vocational training, which was an introduction for them as well.
right, and that's happening now.
So thank you.
So thank you, Theo. So I'm so excited. It's such a beautiful theater, too. I just had to put that out there, and it's available for rentals.
Yes, it absolutely is, and we are it's a beautiful black box theater, and the proceeds from that help support arts programs for children and adults in this community.
Tell us about the Achievers. How can we come to the program? Can anybody come to the program?
We have a waiting list for attendees.
Excuse me.
So we are still accepting sponsorships, and then we actually have we're full in terms of our nominations for Achievers this year. Some of the sponsors, we're still waiting on their final nominations, but we have to make sure we take care of our sponsors.
Right.
But the wonderful thing is that we are never short of the need for mentors. Some of you may not know that the YMCA actually has, through Central Michigan University, has 3 schools, and 2 in Cody Rouge and 1 in Brightmoor. We have students in pre-K all the way to the 10th grade.
Yeah, I know.
And so we need tutors to work with our kids after school. We'll be recruiting for tutors to work with young people after school for fall 2014.
Wow, you hear that. So how can they get more information about the Y? What is the number?
So I'm going to give you a couple things. My email is lmccree@ymcadetroit.org. That's lmccree McCree@ymcadetroit.org, and the number is 223-2841, area code 313.
And Latitia McCree, so talented. I got to have her on when I do a poetry show. Then she'll blow your mind that time, too. So thank you so much. And we have another interview, a quick interview for you. And this is on tape, not on tape, on film. Have you heard of the Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15? These are basic foods you should eat to make sure, to fight off cancer and so forth. And I want you to look at this video and remember that right next is Table Talk with Brenda Perryman, and we have some hot topics, a lot of good social issues for you too. So we will see you in just a few.